Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I read all of the comments. And now, let's get on with the show. When last we left our intrepid adventurers, it was determined that Kebradain and Morgan will not be joining the party on their trip to the north. Kebradain will be staying behind to help defend Sylvia's Rest, and Morgan needs to go to Mountain Vale and perform an exorcism on the Lord's son, Clep. Scalla and Marcus head to Priestess Linda's house. They hear the sound of laughter coming from inside of the house, and when the doors open, they find that the priestess's family is visiting. They have decided to move to Sylvia's Rest permanently. Marcus wants to know if he can talk to Priestess Linda, but she just tells him to go away. She has nothing to talk to him about, she says. His ego slightly bruised, Marcus waits outside. Scalla is there in order to take her examination for the position of Andern, which is a level of priestess. Currently, she's a novit. Linda sits and asks Scalla some questions about the faith of Chaldisaya, after which Linda says that Scalla did a very good job of answering the questions. She wants to be the first to call her sister, because Scalla has passed the test. Scalla leaves the dwelling in a really good mood. She sees Marcus, and he's quiet as they walk back to the common house. From the common house, they go to the dock and see the infantry that is going north is still loading their equipment. Marcus and Scalla stay out of the way. They see Brother Mercy taking some time to minister to the poor. He takes Garu and Brock with him, and they minister to those who live at the wharf. Brock does some martial moves to entertain the children, and Garu understands that people on this world fear elves, so he's not concerned with the way people stare at him. Marcus is on his third mug of pepper beer, and Scalla continues to slowly drink her glass of tree bough wine. Marcus says some uncomplimentary things about Priestess Linda, and Scalla says that Marcus should hold his tongue about his betters. Marcus slams his hand down and stands up. He says that he is as good as she is any day of the week. Scalla apologizes and says that she misspoke, but perhaps the beer is stronger than he thought. Marcus says he's not drunk. He says that Linda was given the title of priestess because they had to remove her as a paladin. Scalla tells him he has no idea what Linda has gone through, and he should just keep his insults to himself. The two get louder and louder until they're screaming at each other. One of the sergeants comes over and asks the two of them to go elsewhere if they're going to argue. He says it's bad for the men's morale to watch a priestess and prime paladin argue. They move on, but the argument becomes more and more heated. Scalla refers to Marcus as a companion, which is sort of like calling a general a private, and Marcus refers to Scalla as a ringwraith. Although not currently true, she is in the clutches of the dragon ring, and that is her eventual fate. But she can't take it anymore. She calls him half a man, and the paladin rears back and strikes her across the face with his hand, and then walks away. Scalla runs in front of him to keep him from leaving, but the paladin just shoves her to the side and continues walking. Scalla goes back to Linda's house and tells her what happened. Linda examines the bruise on the girl's face and tells her that she shouldn't be arguing with paladins. It's a pointless task, since paladins really are only the sword of the goddess. She assigns Scalla some penance for her part in the argument and heads to the dock. At the dock, she confronts Marcus and immediately strips him of his paladin status. She says that Marcus needs to confine himself to temple grounds until the ship is ready to leave. Marcus says that he'll go and discuss this with Priestess Morgan, who is the high priest of the religion. Linda says that she personally is in charge of the Order of the Paladins, and he takes orders from her. Morgan doesn't need to be bothered by this. Marcus sulks away and goes to the temple, strips off his armor, and prays at the sight of the goddess until the next day. He realizes his error and asks the lady's forgiveness. In another part of the temple, Priestess Morgan is finishing off some scrolls and letters for the party to take with them the next day. She's preparing to see this ship off in the morning. Finishing the last one, she prepares for bed. She crawls into the bed and goes to sleep, but then is jolted out of her dream by a vision. In the vision, she sees her daughter, Australia, lying dead on the ground, and the rest of the party are dead as well, and they're all around her. She sees Dastaria rise up Scalla's corpse, turning it into a new Stormwalker, or as they're sometimes called, Ringwraiths. Morgan cries and covers her face, hoping that that was not the future. The loss of another daughter and the loss of her friends, she doesn't believe that she can deal with this. She goes into the other room and kneels and prays to the goddess for guidance, and she receives another vision. In this vision, she sees a better outcome, except for one of the party who will face their doom. It's hard to see in the vision who it is, but then at the last minute, she sees the face of who will have to sacrifice. Morgan puts her prayers to an end and goes back and gathers a few things for her backpack. She bends down and says quiet words to her husband, and then makes her way to the dock. She's going north.